All right, guys. So we are here finally with the Cobra Kai season 3, episode 1 breakdown. We're going to be breaking down episode 1. We're going to take a really nice look at it and basically go through it, what has been happening, what transpires in the episode. I've watched the entire episode, so we're going to go through a bit of it piece by piece. So the episode starts off with Miguel. Basically, you're looking at Netflix right now. I'm basically going to show you guys the screen so you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. There you go. And here you go. This is the first like opening shot, most more or less. And from what we understand, Miguel is kind of experiencing like a dream sequence where he's like having a rematch, but it's a dream sequence and like he's fighting and so forth. But in reality, he's still in a coma. Let me see if I can jump to that specific scene. So he's basically dreaming, and a reporter is talking about the event. It was 2 weeks ago at West Valley High that the event happened, the fight happened, and they're basically getting comments from different people. There was a karate, and one guy says that he also heard that there was a karate attack at the mall a couple of months ago. So they're talking about escalating violence. Moon, interestingly enough, turned around and organized like a peace rally. There she is on television tonight. West Valley High is holding a community meeting. Local students rally for peace. Violent karate clash. It's pretty interesting. We see Johnny sitting at a bar. The people at the bar basically like the employers want him to leave, and he ends up getting into like a fight. He's watching the television. The TV is talking about Miguel who basically got injured. Robbie, who's currently on the run. Some guy changes the channel. Johnny gets like really upset about it. Needless to say, he follows them out to the car, and it escalates into a fight. He ends up going to jail. There you go. There's your screen cap of him. And then we pick up where the school is. And Amanda and Daniel are basically at the school. It turns out Sam has been suspended for 2 weeks. She got suspended for 2 weeks. Tori, on the other hand, has been kicked out of school. She's been expelled. Sam was suspended for 2 weeks for her role in the fight. Tori's been kicked out of school entirely. And then let's go a little further. And then basically there's a PTA meeting, and these are members of like maybe the PTA, the Teachers Association, and they talk about the safety of the school. We actually find out what the status of Stingray is. And it turns out that Stingray, we want to see if I can find this. They're trying to promote a new initiative, Hugs Not Hits. And basically, there was a question asked about Stingray. They said that he was not a member of the faculty, and last they heard, he is on probation and will not be allowed within 500 feet of any child. So that's what's going on with Stingray. We also heard some things unofficial off screen from the actor saying that evidently he did shoot some scenes for season 3, but he doesn't actually know if those scenes will be included in season 3. And at this point, it doesn't look like it. Then basically you have Daniel trying to say that karate saved his life, which is actually pretty funny because then someone actually calls him out and says something along the lines of, he says, when I went to school here, I was bullied and karate saved me. And then someone immediately said, actually said something along the lines of, they called him out, they actually called Daniel out, like, saying that, actually I heard, well, for example, one thing, like they said that they talk about Sam. They said that she was actually running around with Tori's boyfriend, right? It's a pretty wild thing. And I can't. I'm trying to get to the clip because it is absolutely funny. Because like all like the parents, funny, like people talk. Anyway, I couldn't get to it, but someone said, actually, I heard you were the real bully back then. Like they called Daniel out saying that I heard you were the real bully. So that's actually a pretty cool scene. Let's see what else we have here. Johnny's in jail, and he's in jail. A cop's basically talking about how the thing that happened to Miguel, his son's fault. Sam is basically going back to school. I guess it's been like 2 weeks, and she basically looks at the scar that she got on her arm from Tori. Hawk is in the school. There's like now metal detectors in the school, so that's actually another thing to consider. And Dimitri is actually getting a lot of respect these days, evidently. Like we have a kind of like a meetup, a clash off between the Cobra Kai kids and the Miyagi-Do kids. So they're basically facing off here. Yasmin is back. And basically she asked about Aisha, and as you can see, Moon says, you didn't hear? After the fight, her parents moved her to a private school. So that's basically why Aisha is now gone. They discover, fast forward a little bit, and Sam is also having a hard time. She's dealing with the events of Miguel's, of what happened to Miguel. So she's having kind of like a little bit of PTSD. When they go to the dealership, they actually find out that it's hurt their business. Their sales are declining as a result of everything that's happening, associating it with violence. And they also find out that a car was stolen. It turns out that it was a really bad car, but Robbie was the one who likely stole it. He's evidently living in it now. Johnny gets out of jail, and the bail bondsman basically tells him, you better show up. We can see that Miguel is in the hospital, and his mother is here, Carmen. Carmen is there, and his grandmother. Daniel basically is trying to find Robbie because he stole a car from the dealership. Unfortunately, he was not able to find him. He basically took out the GPS and tossed it on the ground. Johnny wants to see Miguel, so he gets himself injured at the hospital, and he basically gets himself injured at the hospital, so the doctors will see him. Sam is having a hard time being in school, so she goes to Miyagi-Do to hang out, and here's Johnny being treated, and then Johnny sneaks in to see Miguel while he's being treated in the ICU because it was only friends and family. And let's see here. Afterwards, Daniel goes looking for Johnny, and he runs into Kreese. He has a conversation with Kreese. Kreese talks a lot of smack about Miyagi, says it really hurt to see the Miyagi name dragged through the mud. And he says that him and Johnny will finish things once and for all eventually. Later on in the episode, Sam decides to stand up for herself against girls who are talking crap about her. Daniel goes looking for Johnny to ask Johnny to help him find what's his name, Robbie. And so that did happen, trying to get a good shot for you. And then we actually get like a scene of where Robbie is. Robbie is basically homeless right now. He's living out of a van. And this is a shot of Robbie. He's not doing so well. And then at the end of the episode, we can see that Miguel is beginning to remember. He's beginning to go through everything, and he basically wakes up at the end of the episode. So his eyes open. He wakes up. Okay, so I'm trying to get that screen cap for you guys. I don't want to play the entire video, but he basically wakes up at the end of the episode, and that's how the episode actually ends, with Miguel waking up. He had been going through a dream sequence where he was still fighting in a karate tournament, and that's basically it. So that's your breakdown for episode 1 that's a recap of episode 1 of everything that kind of mostly happened. It's not perfect, but you get the gist of it, of the storyline. We know that Aisha is no longer in the series. They wrote her off for that reason. They wrote her out using the excuse that her parents transferred her to another school. Yasmin is back. She actually mentioned Aisha, and then Moon basically talked about that. Dimitri is back, and many of our other characters are back. Does look like Stingray is going to be back. And April says, have you made it to episode 10? No, I have not made it to episode 10 yet. April said, have you made it to episode 10? No. Why? Let me see. April, why? April, why? So I'm actually impressed because, the video, they just came out. So the first episode, I think, was somewhere around 30 minutes long. Let me have a look. Let's see here. Yeah, it was 30 minutes long in the actual video itself. And of course the credits don't count. So it's 30-minute episodes. But that's the breakdown for you. That's the breakdown for you guys. Let me know if you enjoyed the breakdown. Help get this video 100 likes if you want me to keep putting out more videos like this one, where I do breakdowns of the episodes. And I mean, are you surprised with the events of season one? Were you expecting to see of season three, episode one? Is there anything else you wanted to see? Is there anything that you think I left out that was important? Let me know what you think in the comments. I will catch you guys in the next one.